Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of BoozeFreeBabes podcast. Today we are joined by our good friend, Asa Wilson. I got to get used to saying that name. She just got married, y'all. And Asa Wilson is a peer recovery leader, Reiki master, and community advocate based right here in Charleston, South Carolina, with over 7 years of lived experience in recovery. Asa serves in leadership roles with both FAVOR Lowcountry and the Oxford House. I don't know how she does it, y'all, focusing on training, education, peer support development, and community partnerships. Asa is currently pursuing a Master of Public Administration at the College of Charleston, whoop, whoop, following an undergraduate degree in integrated studies with a minor in sociology and communication. And I think she just graduated, y'all, so we're going to celebrate that with her too. Their interests include ethical leadership, public policy, equity, and recovery-informed systems. Grounded in empathy and a holistic approach, Asa is passionate about building people-centered policies and practices that support healing, dignity, and long-term recovery. Asa, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely. And it was really weird hearing you say all those things because, in the midst, in the life, just living day to day, and when you hear those things about yourself, I don't know about anybody else listening, but it's kind of wild to hear all these positive influence of things about yourself after living a life of darkness and loss of hope. So thank you for having me.
Well, it was an honor to read that back to you so you could witness yourself today. Wild, right? How freaking cool is that? So, guys, here's the thing about Asa. We are both affiliated with FAVOR. She is the executive director at FAVOR, and I'm on the board at FAVOR. So I've gotten an opportunity to get to know her well over the last few months, get to know her better. And I just have to say, she wears a lot of hats. I'm going to say that again. She wears a lot of hats. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing with FAVOR and that collaboration with Oxford House and how you've been able to bridge the gap between these two associations to make it so much bigger.
Wow, that's a large question. There's a lot in that. So,
Loaded it right out the gate.
yeah, out the gate. So I actually started with Oxford House back in 2020. I was a resident. Little bit of background about me. I had been arrested, over 40, 50 times in the low country here in the Tri-County area, never been provided resources or been introduced to recovery. Didn't even know what that looked like. I caught some really big charges at the end and ended up getting sentenced to drug court. When I was sentenced into drug court, when I was released, I kind of went back to the lifestyle that I was living. I had a drug dealer pick me up. I was living in a hotel, and a friend of mine had, suggested, hey, you might want to reach out to an Oxford House before you go to prison, right? Like I was facing 11 years if I didn't complete the program. And I reached out and I got in as a resident and kind of just hit the ground running from there. And I'm grateful for that experience. But, then fast forward a couple of years and I had been doing a lot of service work within the Oxford House community. I opened up a couple houses before I got hired on, and they were like, hey, we want to hire you. And so that kind of started my journey in the recovery realm. Of working in it. And I quickly became a certified peer support specialist through the Addiction Professionals of South Carolina, and was offered another job as a peer support in a local 301 agency, Dorchester Alcohol and Drugs. So I was working in two recovery room, totally different guidelines, totally different roles that I played in both of those jobs. And then I got the opportunity to become the program director here at FAVOR, and that was 3 years ago. I've kept my job with Oxford House, of course. I continue to open Oxford Houses, and we can talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. But when I got here to FAVOR, it was about to dissolve. They had a board, but it wasn't a working board. It was the same board that had been on since it was founded. And they all had, jobs that they worked in, families, and no time to lean into the organization. And they were literally holding on by just strings, right? And When I got here, I had no clue what I was doing. I still day to day am learning all these new things because I've never been a program director, much less an executive director now. And there was a guy working here that for 15 hours a week alongside me, and I literally have had to build this organization from the ground up. And it has been this amazing experience. And I know you and I talked a little before we started this recording about living in, the universe's will, a power greater than myself, and how things have just continuously came into my lap, and people needing and listening to what individuals need, really meeting people where they're at, has helped me create programs and initiatives within Favor that is needed in the low country. And that's what I did. I just listened. And I was able to work with a grant management company, I forgot what they're called, but regardless of the fact, consulting company, my apologies, and started handpicking individuals to be on our board, and and teaching, right? Like telling them what it is, the mission, the vision, finding people like yourself that really believed in our mission and vision and what we could and would, what we're doing. And it has like been this full circle of experience and growth. And so, it started off small and little things here and there. And then it's just taken off the last year where we've been able to hire more individuals, certified peer support specialists, and really create programs that the community needed. And if I was to sit here and talk about all of the programs that we have, we would probably need to be on this podcast for a week for explanation. But one of the things that we do, we harm reduction efforts, we educate, we provide training for naloxone, fentanyl and xylazine test strips, bringing awareness to individuals, meeting them where they're at. And so if they're not ready to maybe stop using, they use safely. And I know that might sound wild to some people, but at the end of the day, we're planting seeds for if and when they are ready for recovery resources. We provide peer support sessions with a certified peer support, and all of this stuff is at no cost. So that's the best part. There are no financial barriers that one would have to overcome to come in to see us. And I think that's very important. I know when I came into recovery, I didn't have anything. I mean, maybe had some shoes and an outfit from the jail, right? Like I didn't have anything when I returned back to society. So, I know we, meet a lot of people that need it, that just don't have the resources, insurance, that type of thing to get the help that they need. On top of that, we have we're one of the 5 training sites in the state of South Carolina that can train individuals with lived experience to become a certified peer support specialist and be that bridge that gap or that barrier to employment opportunities. So everyone that hires peer supports around this area always reach out to us. Hey, do you have someone that would be good for this role? Do you which person do you think? Or I have this person applying. Do you know them, and do you think they would be good? Right? And so it's really cool to kind of bridge that gap, and then they can use their lived experience in that capacity while helping others, and then also make a living off of it. So I think that's one of the very coolest things that we do, because we are, able to empower these individuals to become their best selves and use their experience to help others.
I think you said it so perfectly there, right? Absolutely. And Favor, I just want to spell out what that stands for. Faces and Voices of Recovery. For those of you listening that may not know, that's the acronym. And CPSS is Certified Peer Support Specialist. And that's actually where Debbie and I went to get our CPSS training done, was at FAVOR Lowcountry. So if that's something in your wheelhouse that you're interested in doing, if you're a person in long-term recovery, then definitely check out CPSS, because you guys offer that training a couple times a year, correct?
We do 5. So we're in a cohort right now. That last class is Saturday for this cohort. We will have another cohort in March. We are halfway filled. So if you are interested, you do have to have 1 year's lived experience. You have to have 2 letters of reference, a GED or a high school diploma, and then a 1-page reference along with the application. All of that can be found at favorlowcountry.com. And then just email us all the documentation. As long as you have everything, we haven't denied anyone, right? As long as you have what you need, and you are, meet the qualifications. So yeah.
That's fantastic. That's so great. I remember when I took the course and it just opened my eyes up to so much more, specifically meeting people where they're at, using the language that we're using with substance use disorder, persons in long-term recovery. And also, what was the other big takeaway for me?
Multiple pathways.
Multiple pathways. Thank you. Multiple pathways in a judgment-free zone. That after taking that training, it shifted the way that Booze Free Babes kind of presented itself, because we were really created in a sober, curious environment, right? And we always wanted to stay that way. So we're open and welcoming. And if you have, maybe you're having a conversation, internal dialogue, you want to, talk through that. You're at the beginning stages, like you said, planting those seeds. And I have to tell you, even just in my own journey, as soon as you follow FAVOR Lowcountry on social media, if that doesn't encourage you to get sober, because I followed FAVOR Lowcountry long before I committed to abstinence. So I'm just going to say, you follow 1 or 2 social media accounts in this space, you'll want to get sober. You guys are just having so much fun. Let's talk about some of the fun things that you do.
Shout out to Christy Sinopoulos. She's great. She does our marketing and all of our social media platforms, and she's been with us for a couple of months. But since she has, the uptick and the analytics is just profoundly different. And not only that, people are talking about our Facebook, and that's what we wanted. We needed that rebranding. We needed that oomph, right? That little meh. And I will be calling the board in to do a reel and contributing to our next couple of steps with social media stuff. So I look forward. It was so much fun making that last.
No, I saw that. That looked like a lot of fun. So it just goes to show you that yes, you can have some fun in recovery, right?
Absolutely. And I'm going to get with Christy and see she'll do the bloopers, because the bloopers were, the behind the scenes stuff I think was hilarious.
Chef's kiss, priceless. Yeah. We try not to take ourselves too seriously over here at the Booze Free Babes Clubhouse.
Yes, I'm with you on that.
So tell us about, I think that we've got a really cool event coming up. So tell us a little bit about this golf tournament you guys are doing.
So, we try to do 4 fundraising events a year. Last year we did 3. This year we're shooting for 4. The first one being the For Hope Golf Classic. It's at the Somerville Country Club, and all that stuff's on our social media, but we're really excited about this. It's March 19th. Registration starts at 8. The golf tournament itself starts at 9. And we have some teams available, so we're needing some more teams and whole sponsors. It looks like we got a overall sponsor, a gold sponsor, and then we got a party sponsor this morning. So we got some sponsorships available, some whole sponsorships available, and then of course teams available. So, but there's some really cool silent auction items that we have this go round. We just got donated yesterday 2 tickets to Boston Red Sox, and the seats are behind home plate. And that is really cool. We're trying to get together a package with maybe hotel accommodations as well as that. So if someone's traveling to Boston, they can go to that. We've got a tattoo gift certificate. So a local tattoo artist that is absolutely amazing. I've got a self-care package with a massage and a robe and slippers for the guy, whoever bids on it.
Fun.
Yeah, it's really cool, and we're really excited. So if you golf, you can go to our Facebook page, and there's a Zeffy link that you can look at all the things. So.
Include that Zeffy link, and this is a message for Alexa too. I'm going to include that Zeffy link when we post this, so that way whoever clicks on the video or the podcast listening to it will also have access in the show notes to the link where you can either register your team Or if you want to be a sponsor, you can check out the sponsorship options as well on that link. And then on that link, does it also have access to the silent auction?
No, we have not gotten the silent auction all completed yet, but once we do, I can get that over to you, no problem.
Fantastic. We'll make sure that we get that out to the audience so that they have it. Now let's talk about the other 3 events that you do as fundraising events throughout the year.
So we partnered with Oxford House for the dinner cruise. And the dinner cruise last year was absolutely amazing. It was red carpet recovery on the river. It was very, very hot to be an elegant cocktail attire. So we're going to switch up the theme, and we're probably going to do a luau. We haven't really honed in on that just yet. And we also haven't honed in on an exact date where we're looking at the end of summer. And then we have our Bridge to Recovery walk in September every year. This year it's the last Sunday in September. And we always have a crowd out there. So, I hope to see a lot of Booze Free Babes already come to that every year. It's really cool to see you all. And we're looking forward to seeing you all again this year. And then we're adding something a little new for the winter season. I think we're leaning into doing a luncheon or a brunch. For the community. So again, more will be revealed on all of that, and we'll have all of updates, all the flyers, all the events on our website as well as our Facebook. So
is fantastic. And so I wanted to make sure that we touched on the fact that there is a quarterly opportunity to collaborate with FAVOR Lowcountry and Oxford House through these fundraising initiatives. So what we'll do is make sure that we're sharing the FAVOR Lowcountry link as well, so those that are listening can check out what all is going on at FAVOR, because the other thing too is that there's also daily meetings or activities that take place at FAVOR as well. Can we do just a quick, and I know that there's tons of stuff that you guys do, but just a super high level that there's a meeting every day?
absolutely. There's a meeting every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. Monday evenings is a AA group at 6:30. On Tuesday mornings, we have a Toastmasters meeting, which is like public speaking. If you're familiar with that, it's at 7 a.m. in the morning. And then in the evening, we have the party men's group that comes, and that's from 7 to 9. Wednesday, we have Sex Addicts Anonymous at 12:30. And then we have All Recovery at 6, Smart Recovery at 7. On Thursdays, we have Sober Shenanigans, which is a women's meeting at 6:37. I can't remember.
It's like, I think that was at 7.
Yeah, 7. Okay. Fridays is another AA meeting, and I forgot the name of that one. Saturday is Eating Disorder Anonymous at 5:30. And then at 8:30, we have a Heroin Anonymous. And then Sundays, we have Recovery Dharma at 12:30. So yes, we have all the different modalities. We're hoping to add a MARA meeting soon, which is Medicine Assisted Recovery Anonymous. So we're hoping to add that here soon, and we'll let you all know when that happens.
That's fantastic. I love the fact, well, a couple of things. One, I live really close to FAVOR, so it's just a really great touchstone for me personally. And the fact that we champion that multi-pathway approach. So if that sounds like you, if you're resonating with any of this conversation, definitely check out the favorlowcountry.com website to learn more about the exact schedule and what's outlined in each meeting. I think that you'll find that resource really helpful. So I'm going to switch gears for a second, because there's something in your bio that stood out to me that I'm fascinated by, and that is that you're a Reiki master. So one other thing that I'd like to touch on is energy work, because we do believe in that as a multi-pathway approach. Do you mind, I know I'm catching you off guard on this one, but do you mind sharing with us a little bit about how energy work has helped you on your recovery journey?
Oh, wow. It's been a game changer. So, year 1 for me was like removing the substances, right? And year 2 was emotional sobriety. And I had to deal with like identifying, I had never known what I was feeling in the past, because anything or any time that I felt I would just numb myself with substances, right? And when I got to year one, I think I was like on adrenaline, right? I was feeling all these things and crying all the time, and all the stuff that year one, year two, I was able to start identifying what those emotions were. And I have a lot of trauma, and I don't want to take away from. I'm sure a lot of people can relate with that. And I had never done any type of trauma work. I had never really looked within, trying to find the root or the causes of the things. And I had already finished the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. That's my foundation, right? And I probably shouldn't say that. I should remain anonymous, but I feel like hopefully I won't get in trouble for that.
You're in good company. I think it's okay.
Okay, good. So I got through that, and it kind of built my foundation to continue the work. Um, I needed more, and I kept like meditating. And I've always been a crystal collector, even in active use when I was on the streets and I was living in hotel rooms and abandoned houses. Like, crystals would find me, and I never realized the significance of them or the meaning behind them. And so when I got into that second year recovery, I started really delving into and researching and seeing what all this stuff meant. And I had so many crystals even in early recovery that people just kept giving me. And I didn't realize it. And me going on that journey, like seeking and researching crystals, led me to energy work, because there's a lot of energy surrounding different crystals. Everything has some type of healing property. And so I really got into that, and it led me, probably at the end of year two, I had a Kundalini awakening, and I didn't even realize what I was having. My groin area was vibrating where the point, like, you could feel it with the touch of a hand. And I freaked out, and I called my doctor, my gyno, and I was like, hey, what is going on? I need to be seeing, like, something's not right. And she didn't have the answer. She was like, I have no clue. There's nothing wrong with you. And then I started doing the research of vibrating in the groin area, and the only explanation I could find was a Kundalini awakening. And so I started researching on that, and then that led me to this, and then that, and then Reiki ultimately. And so I had my first Reiki session in the beginning of COVID, and met with the woman and really got some insight. And she had told me, and through that journey with her, she had told me, like, you're a healer, you're supposed to be doing this. And I wholeheartedly believe that. I believe I've been tapped into healing, been an empath, and tapped into those abilities since I was a small child. And I used to always walk around, and my grandma's knee was hurting, and I'd say, I'm healing you, Granny, I'm healing you. And she always also said, you're a healer. And I didn't really realize what that meant at that age. Being young, I thought it was like, oh, I will never be a nurse or a doctor, because that's my perception of what healer was then, because I had never been introduced to spiritual modalities. And so I leaned in.
Wow. That is so exciting. So what I'm hearing you say basically is that you're a vessel for universal life force energy.
Yeah.
That is such a beautiful, yeah, right. That's what it means, right? And so that is so beautiful. And I think that the reason why I wanted to ask you that question specifically is just to highlight a little bit more about that multi-pathway approach. And I get it. The 12 steps being a foundation, and a solid foundation for you, and finding other tools along this journey that can be supportive in overcoming those past traumas, finding that root cause, like you said, and ultimately the healing process and learning to love ourselves fully. And that's my jam, man. That's what I like talking about, is the healing part.
Well, and I like to share this because, like, yeah, that was my catalyst. It was built my foundation, but it also led me to seek. And I just keep seeking. And through the seeking, I have continuously found other healing modalities. I love doing sound baths. I actually just got gifted a set of bowls a couple of months ago, and I plan on becoming a facilitator for that. I actually started an LLC for my Reiki business, Divine Enlightenment. I haven't even been able to lean into that, because right now I feel as if what my purpose is what I'm doing, but I'm setting myself up at some point to shift to nothing but holistic healing. Is the work that I'm doing holistic healing now? Absolutely. Do I think that there's a greater purpose for me in that facet of healing? I do. And it looks like meditation and crystal collecting and Reiki and sound baths and breath work, right? Like all of these things. I'm also tapping into EMDR and somatic healing. Like there's so many things. My thing is I just keep seeking healing, and all of these modalities keep coming to me. And I want to be able to be the best woman that I can be and heal to the best of my ability, so that I can continue to like break these generational curses of this trauma that I have been born into.
Wow.
You know?
That's beautiful. And I just love the way that you articulated that so well, because that's been part of what I feel like has been my journey as well, is that, yeah, I eliminated the substance, but then I needed to go deeper. And how do we go deeper? And part of this the purpose of this podcast is to share those modalities, because I feel like there's this intersection where we go so far, but then there's just a little bit more that we need to do, and sometimes we need to seek that in untraditional ways, so that way we can overcome or get through or get to the other side of whatever lesson that we're trying to learn. And being open to what that healing looks like, I think, is also really critical on this journey, right? Because what works for me may not work for somebody else. I went through the Psych K path, which is similar to EMDR, but a little bit different. And so that doesn't mean that EMDR is wrong. It means that EMDR is another awesome modality that helps us overcome those limiting beliefs in our subconscious mind.
Absolutely. And it's not for everyone, and that's okay. It's really heavy. It's really deep. And I have had challenges with it, to be honest with you. I've had to take breaks multiple times throughout the past 4 years as I'm going through this. And I don't know that I'll ever get through all of it. I mean, we're not even past age 5 and at 4 years later, right? And so it's like it's really, really deep shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It is deep shit. And it's like, our minds can get really blown. I'm so excited. And I want to have this conversation with you for hours, because it's fascinating to me. And I am not a Reiki master by any means. I know Reiki masters, and I think that's really cool. And recently I had an experience that I think really shifted a place that I was at in my own recovery. I was like, we just go through cycles, and I was in a cycle. I was in a place where I was really having a lot of self-doubt, and I was in this trauma loop that I couldn't get out of. And I had talked to my therapist, and I felt like we should be beyond this now. Why are we here? Like, why, after all the work that we've done, why are we here? Right. And it's just exposing another layer of that onion and going deeper. It's not that I'm here as in the same spot that I was 3 years ago. No, I'm here at a deeper level.
Well, what I've discovered through doing shadow work, and I shared with you before we got on, like this shadow work is a whole nother thing. And it's wild that those things will be triggered within us, the self-doubt, and really looking at your surroundings and your awareness and self-realization of what brought that upon you, and really accepting and feeling through that stuff and integrating that trauma or whatever something has within you hasn't healed. And that's what I've discovered, right? Like I'm doing a lot of inner child work, and I have this 11-year-old that I am a bonus mom to, right? Like, and I see myself in her, and I was once her mom, right? In a sense, like her mom is having has some struggles, and I'm finding myself parenting the same way my mother did. And I don't think that that was the most positive way to do things, right? But every little thing that she does, I feel triggered inside, and she really makes me lose my gangster on a day-to-day basis. Like I almost crash out daily. And I have had to really do some soul searching and inner work to see why I'm allowing, or why the situations or the things that are happening, I am responding the way that I am. And it's not been pretty. It has not been, coming to the realization of why and how how to change that, right? How to feel through that, how to switch and change my responses internally or reactions, not reacting, but responding, right? Um, it's a lot of work, you
Well,
know?
I'm going to say, take a deep breath on that one. She's 11,
Yeah. Going on 30.
going on 30. Well, just take a deep breath is all I can say. And it will, I'm so, this conversation is so yummy, and I know we don't have a lot of time to go down this channel, but I just want to say that the fact that you're having this conversation with yourself right now is so freaking beautiful and powerful. And I hope that one day she will be able to look back on this and realize that you are really doing your best in this situation to give her the best that you can.
Yeah, I do too. She's really mean. Yeah, it is what it is. She doesn't like me, but I'm holding her accountable and I'm trying to love her in a way that she's never been loved. She doesn't know how to really, I don't think she knows what that love looks like, and that's okay. She's 11, but just being a parent. And I think we owe to her being her parents. I don't think being her friend is beneficial to her growth. And I've explained that just like I just did to you. And I told her, I know this doesn't look like love to you right now, and I know you're not liking what I'm saying, but this is because I love you. I want you to grow as a little human, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And I know that you're coming from a great place. Oh my goodness. I have a stepdaughter that's now in college. And so she came home over the summer, and it was really challenging for me. I work from home and she was at home, and um, it was a really difficult summer. And I feel like I didn't show up as my best. And I've talked to her since then. And so I have compassion for the place that you're in right now. And I'm just so grateful that you're in this place wanting to make that relationship whole. And I wish that I had better tools earlier in my relationship with my own stepdaughter. So I hope that when she does look back on this one day, that she will absolutely see that you are doing your best.
Yeah, I
I
have
see.
hope that that's going to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
that at some point in her life, she's going to realize that, holy moly, you know?
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for the guidance that you gave me in those times that I needed it most, is what she's going to say.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Asa. I want to get you back on the show for sure. And maybe we can do this again when we have another event. And maybe we can explore Reiki a little bit more. But this has just been so awesome having you here today. I've wanted to have you on the show since like season 2, and we finally made it happen. And I'd love to have you back again. And I just thank you for all that you do, not only for Favor and Oxford House, but for our community as a whole. You, like I said in the beginning, you are wearing many hats, and you're filling your dreams along the way by going to college and furthering your education and still being present for the people that you love and care about most in your life. And I see that. And I think our community sees that. And we just want to thank you and praise you for all that you do.
Well, I appreciate that. And again, I couldn't do this work alone. So thank you for everything that you do as well.
I appreciate that too.
Yeah.
Thank you, girl. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us today. Booze Free Babes podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Check us out for the full video replay on YouTube. Asa, Favor Lowcountry. Go check out favorlowcountry.com. Check out their social media as well. I think you guys are going to love what they're putting out on social right now. Some really helpful content. All right, folks. Until next time, stay tuned. Thank you so much. Love you. Talk to you
Hey,
soon.
everyone.